Hi guys, welcome. This video is long overdue. So as the title suggests, in this video I'll be talking about how to move to Switzerland. I have been bombarded with this question. And I prepared a little note like about 2 months ago, but let me tell you something. I have been going through a very life altering experience, and I just want to soak it all in. And some days I am bursting with energy, and other days I am not able to do much. So I guess today is the day I'm bursting with energy, and I thought, okay, let me come on here and share with you what I found on how to move to Switzerland. I don't know any illegitimate way to move to Switzerland, because I know there are other ways than what I have here. But if you're looking for any other way than the normal channels, maybe here is not the right place, right? So I'm gonna list the 3 or 4 ways I found on how to move to Switzerland, and then I'll get into it a little bit more. Normally I would want to just talk, free talk and whatever, but to be honest, I cannot remember anything. So even I'm going to be reading, so even if I wanted to like read it and then repeat it on camera like I'm so brilliant and my memory's so, I can't remember it. So I'm going to be reading from here. So without further ado, let's get into it. And as you can see, guys, the last video I did, I was in Jamaica. Now I'm back in Switzerland. So yep, I'm back in Switzerland for the past 3 months. For the past, I came back in February, mid-February, April, May, January, February, March, April. 2 months, for the past 2 months, yeah. Right, all right, so let's get into it. So how do I move to Switzerland, or how to move to Switzerland? For me, I moved through family, right? So the family united visa. But there are 4 main ways you can move to Switzerland, and that's through a student visa. You can move to Switzerland on a work visa. You can move to Switzerland on a retirement visa. This is something I did not know. During my research, I found that. And you can move to Switzerland on a family visa. All right, this is where I'm going to be reading because I just can't remember everything. Okay, so on a Swiss work visa. All right, this is self-explanatory, I think. You get a job, your job will sponsor your visa, and you'll come over and live here on a time frame. Let me read. This is for immigrants who want to take up work as employee in Switzerland. You will normally need a work contract with a Swiss employer before you can apply. The process for applying for a Swiss work visa depends on your nationality. Keep that in mind. So I'm Jamaican, I'm from the Caribbean. It might be different for me compared to somebody who's from North America, United States, right? So it depends on your nationality, among other things. So as with other types of visa, different rules apply for EU citizens, that's European citizens, and for EFTA citizens, as opposed to non-nationals of the EU and the EFTA citizens. So again, from my experience with like the work visa, people from the EU and the the EFTA regions, they will have priority because there's like a tier. They will employ Swiss first, then the EU and the EFTA citizens, and then third citizen nationals, I think they're called. So yeah, the link is below. Look into that and you'll get more information. All right, so the next thing, or no, I want to touch on this. So to be qualified for a Swiss work permit, so it's not everybody who will be granted a Swiss work permit. So to be qualified, here's what they're looking for. You're a skilled and qualified worker, so for example, a manager, a specialist in something, and you have a university degree, several years of work experience, and specific expertise. Well, from my experience, I know that if you're into IT, that's very, very attractive for a Swiss employee. If you're into science-based research stuff, that can be very interesting as well. Also, I think nurse care, like caring for the elderly, just working as a nurse, that's quite attractive because they're looking for people in these areas now. However, the drawback with that is you need the language. You need to be able to speak French, Italian, Romanish, or German, depending on which area in Switzerland you want to go to work. All right, another one is you already have a job waiting for you. So by some chance you get a job, which is not impossible. There are a lot of people working with the UN. There are a lot of people who somehow through their jobs back home, they find a job here in Switzerland and they want to bring them over, right? And they can, that's kind of, yeah, that's a very good way to make you eligible to come over to work. All right, there is no here is what, there is no EU or EFTA citizen who could take the job instead. This is, for me, this is the most painful thing ever. So here's what they're saying. Here's what this means. If you are applying for a job, right, it's the Swiss obligation to publicize this job. And if they can't find someone from the EU or someone from the extended Europe to fill that job, that's when they will consider you, who is not from this area, this region, to pick up that position. Of course, there are ways around it. Your employee can argue, for example, if it's an English-based job, your employee can always argue that they would prefer someone who speaks English, whose native language in English, and the immigration will consider this, right? So, but this is a major challenge for people who are not in the EU and the EFTA, that when you're looking for jobs here, it can be difficult because they will prioritize the EU and the Swiss citizens over anyone else. All right, the next criteria is an annual quota for Swiss work visa allows it. So they have a quota, self-explanatory. They have a quota. Once the quota is not filled, you apply for a job, you are qualified in other ways, then you can get in. All right, so the next one is a student visa. This is also quite straightforward. It's for foreigners who have been admitted into a Swiss educational institution. You need to have a certificate of enrollment before you can apply for this visa. So scout out your university or your school. Usually it's a university. Scout it out and apply. Soon as you get your acceptance letter, then I think from there you can go on and do your application. There are some there are some conditions you must meet before applying for a Swiss student visa. In some cases, you may not even need to apply for a visa at all. Okay, it all depends on your nationality. So nationality has a lot to do with these things. The first thing you have to do is, if you want to study in Switzerland, is getting accepted in a university, as I said before, or an educational institution, because it doesn't have to be a university. Once you have your certificate of enrollment at the educational institution you want to study in, then you can apply for your student visa. Again, I will leave all the links down below, so go on whichever route you want to take. You can go ahead and look into that. All right, so the next one is family visa. So this is for foreigners who want to move to Switzerland to join a family member. So that can be your spouse or your parents. I'm not sure if that can be your child. So if you have a child who is Swiss, I'm not sure. It did not say, but check the site and see if it has more information on that. But the person has to be a permanent resident of Switzerland, or permanent resident or citizen of Switzerland. So you can join the person here. I want to add something, because I joined my husband here, but he's not at the time when I joined him, he was not a permanent resident of Switzerland. He was a temporary resident. So there are different. Permanent is when you have the C permit and you have permanent residency. So, and the temporary is you get, like, whenever you go to renew your permit, your residency permit, they'll give you 5 years or 2 years or whatever. So when I came to join him here, he was not a permanent citizen. So look into that as well. If you want to join your spouse, he doesn't have to be a permanent citizen. Okay. All right. So keep in mind that different countries may require additional documents that the Swiss authorities reserve the right to ask for more documents as they see fit, right? So from my experience, it really depends on your situation and where you're from, because I have friends who we came here together, or we came here just like a year or so apart, and we have different status now because they're maybe from Africa, I'm from the Caribbean, or they're from North America, and so it really depends on where you're from. And not only, it's not a copy and paste for everybody. So if you're applying for a student visa or a family reunited visa, I may require something different because of where I'm from than you who is from somewhere else, All right, so the Swiss retirement visa, I did not know about this, and this is issued, and when we talk about retirement, I would imagine older people who have retired, and let's say you are from Dubai or you're from wherever, and you're like, oh, I would love to retire in Switzerland. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but yeah, maybe for healthcare reason, but you want to retire in Switzerland. So it is issued to retired foreigners who want to move to Switzerland and have enough funds to support themselves. So that's a very, 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 very important or key piece of information. You have to have enough money to support yourself, because Swiss government, they're not going to support you. So make sure you have enough money. So let's put it at this: you're rich, you retire, you probably want to buy a house here, or you probably want to go into a home here. That's a way of moving to Switzerland. And yeah, those are the 4 illegitimate ways I found that you can move to Switzerland. I think also, as a refugee, you can move to Switzerland if you really have a case that you are in danger in your country. It's an avenue, it's an avenue that you can use to move to Switzerland, but you must have an illegitimate case that you are in danger in your country. A lot of people use homosexuality That's one big one I know. What else? Politics is a big one. Anyways, I'm so happy that I finally did this video, because I've been asked so many times, how can I move to Switzerland? How can I move to Switzerland? And I'm so happy I finally gathered the strength to do it. Anyways, I'm trying not to edit this video too much. So if you have any further question, please leave them in the comments, and I will be happy to make a video about it. Maybe in the next 3 months. No, I hope it's not in the next 3 months. I hope I'll see you guys again soon. And if you want to keep up with like my more day-to-day, it's not day-to-day, but you know, maybe week-to-week happenings, follow me over on TikTok. It's the same, Danelle Munchies. I'm doing more cooking and so on there. So if you want to keep up with me, then maybe over there is better. If you want some information, whenever I have some time, I'll pop on here and give that to you. Okay, so have a nice and blessed day and weekend coming up whenever you see this, and we will talk soon. Bye.